We last week parshat Tazria, we took advantage of Tazria, which is certainly all about Lashon Hara, one of the major causes, and we went ahead and spoke a bit of Hilchos Lashon Hara. From the Chafetz Chaim, he put that halacha on the map, right? He spoke about it. He made a big deal about it. Oh yeah, amazing, amazing stuff. And now we're going to read another source. So Chafetz Chaim, everyone knows about the Chafetz Chaim. The halachas of Tumat Sara'at, the halachas of Sara'at, the technical details, I think most people wouldn't even know where would I even find them. What Mishnah, what halachic books, where would I find the halachas of Sara'at? How to identify Sara'at in a house, in the furniture, in the clothing, on a person? I don't know. The only thing I know is that if your whole body turns white, you don't have Sara'at. That's what people know, which is true, but even that, it's a lot of details when that does apply, when it doesn't apply. It's not simple at all. So the major sources in the Torah Shabbat Peh is the Mishnah in the Ga'im, in the book of Tahari of Shishas Dibra Mishnah, Zera'im, Moe, Nash, Nazik, and Kashim Taharos. In Taharos, the most well-known might be Masechet Nida, and there's a Mishnayos on it and Gemara on it. And then you have other Mishnayos where there is no Gemara. All we have is a Mishnah. And the Gam is one of them. And is it codified in the Shulchan Aruch? No, it's not. For whatever reason, it didn't make it in there. So not for whatever reason. The Shulchan Aruch only has halachas that apply today. It doesn't have Migdash. It doesn't have Sanhedrin of 71. It doesn't have Paradum. The Rambam has everything. So in the Rambam, the end of Tumas Sarat, after 16 chapters, there's a lot of halachas here. When we have the Migdash and B'yetz Hashem soon, speedily in the days, and someone's going to show up to the Kohen. I got something growing on my arm over here. So the Kohen's knee-jerk reaction, I'm going to go to the doctor. What do I know? No, this is not a medical shot. This is halacha shot, Tumas Tahara. And most Kohanim will not know what's flying. To understand Saras, you have to be a massive Talmid Chacham who spent years on this topic and has hadracha. So many people do not know that, but Baruch Hashem, Shalom Aleichem. Baruch Hashem, we have Gedolim who are experts in this area as well as any other area of halacha, even those that don't apply yet. And you say, yeah, but we have to go to the Kohen. You don't go to the Gadol. Let's say Rav Goldstein, the Gadol of Ramapri Shemesh. So he has hours every day we can go to see him. And 1:30 every afternoon, and then 8 o'clock at night. And you go, people wait outside, you go in, you ask them any shaila in any area of the Torah. It's a phenomenon. It's a phenomenon that we have a gadol in our community. It's just, we have a lot of many chacham in our community. The gadol means they know kol Torah kula. It's just different league. Any Gemara, all the commentaries, any halacha whatsoever. It's just a different kind of blessing that we have. And it's very, very, very special we have such a thing. So, but you don't go to Rav Goldstein, you have to go to the Kohen. So Rav Goldstein can answer the shaylas, but you have to go to the Kohen. So how does that work? So the answer is the Kohen, if he's a learned Kohen and he knows his stuff, fine. If not, he will get guidance from the Gadol. We'll have a Sanhedrin up there in the Migdash, wherever you are, and they'll be guiding him. He needs to go ahead and pronounce Tomei, Tahor, let's be a week in seclusion. And so he has to announce it to Kohen, but the Gadol could guide him. Fine. So the Rambam has 16 chapters on Sarat, all based on our Parshas mezora. And then he finished with something fascinating. What does he say at the end? He says that this is not a natural thing. It's not minhag olam, nature. And the Rambam, if anyone knows Rambam's philosophy, he was big on nature. He was big on teva, and he maintained God oversees teva, but there is a system called science, nature, that God oversees. And when this falls, that's gravity. It's not Hashem saying, keep a fall. Hashem wills a system of nature to exist. If he stops willing it to exist, it will stop. But there's a system of nature called gravity, and that's part of it. And the Rambam held that way. A lot of the rabbis over the last few decades sort of veered away from that. There's no such thing as nature, it's all miracles. It's a fascinating topic, but not for now. But the Rambam holds this minhag. There's something called Teva. In my opinion, look at the Rishonim, all the medieval philosophers, they all held that way. And the change of saying there's no such thing as nature, it's all God's miracles. I don't see that. I don't think that's Amos. So.
But they would say God makes them.
Yeah, I said he makes it and oversees it. That's what I said. He oversees it and maintains it. And if he doesn't will it, it will cease to exist. It doesn't exist on its own. But there is a system called nature. And this pen fell according to gravity. And I went ahead. I'm not looking where I'm going. I fell and I broke something. That's, I'm not careful. You're negligent. And yeah, there's something called negligence, and you can pay for it sometimes. Okay. Either way, we're not going to get that discussion. Maybe one day we'll have a discussion about the different opinions on that topic, about nature and miracles and all that. It's a fascinating topic enough for now. But the Rambam has something called minhag, and he writes that even though the Rambam very much holds that there is something called minhag, and not the case over here. Okay. He says, Eino minhago shalom, os upela. It's a wonder from God. To warn him about Lashon Hara, even though there are plenty of averos that cause saras, the most prominent one is Lashon Hara. And then he says, Lashon Hara. First thing that happens, someone speaks Lashon Hara, not a one-time thing, but has a sickness. First punishment comes to where? Anyone know what's hit first? The bias. Bias is hit first. If he does shuva, the bias will become tahor. That's it. If he continues with his rishus until they have to take care of his house and still he doesn't change, then anyone know what's next? You're going to be surprised. So everyone would say clothing. I would have said that too. But the Ram is a mishtanin klei ha'or shebebeso. Furniture. Furniture's next. Everything he sits and lies on. If he does shuva, he has tahara. If he stays in his rishus and he lost his house, lost his furniture, im chazabo yitaru. If he does shuva, great. If not, then yisrafu. Oh, sorry, I skipped the line. Next, like Julie said, is the clothing. If he doesn't do tshuva, the next is what? Oro ayin vav. Oro is his skin. And then hopefully you move them before some levado. Not only will have punishments, he's going to end up being levado on his own. Actually, he would no longer be with his chevra, which is just talking late sonos and Lashon Hara all day long. And we have to learn from this. Learn from Miriam. Miriam. What happened to Miriam? Look what happened to Miriam Hanaviyah. She was older than him, is number one. She raised him. She put herself in danger to save him. She didn't speak badly. She just made a mistake and thought he's similar to other whom? Nevi'im. I could think of worse compliment, worse criticism. You're like another prophet. Okay. I could think of a bigger put down than that, right? Exactly. So, and he didn't even care because it says Ish Moshe Anavmod. He didn't even care, meant nothing to him. Why is it saying Ish Moshe Anavmod? The Rambam over here is a perush on the Torah. We don't have a Rambam perush on the Torah, but once in a while he gives a little perush. He's saying the reason said Ish Moshe Anavmod to show he didn't even care. It didn't mean anything to him. And still, despite these half a dozen limitations in that it wasn't such a serious violation, Miyanen Shabbatzaras. She was punished immediately. Kalva Chomer, all the more so, Stam, a Russia Tipei that talks about this and doesn't stop. So you really have to be careful who you hang out with, how you talk. And he finishes off that you cannot speak this way about Sichas Sheirei Yisrael, the kosher Jewish people. How are they going to speak? With two words: Divrei Torah. And what else? What else do you have besides Divrei Torah? And Chachma. You can be learning Torah all the time, and even if you're not learning Torah, you can be speaking about Chachma, about wisdom. and thinking about God's world, even if it's not an open halacha, Rambam, Mishlei, Tanakh. Okay. And then he says such a person, and we'll give him zechuyos for someone who goes in and is careful about this. That's amazing. That's amazing. This Rambam, beautiful Rambam. And it's a great Rambam in many ways. To give us chizuk next time. Yeah, being tempted to speak a little Lashon Hara. Think about this Rambam. Think about the Rambam and the great zechus hashkacha that Rambam says you get. There's a negative hashkacha when you do something wrong, when you speak Lashon Hara, and there's a positive hashkacha, and there's a positive hashkacha. Hi, welcome. There's a positive hashkacha when you are careful and you're mitgaber. Okay, when you're mitgaber, there's a positive hashkacha. So hopefully that gives you a little bit of chizuk. And I think there's also an amazing message over here. You're telling me, is it really possible a person will go ahead and have his house taken apart, and he'll continue persisting with Lashon Hara? Okay, he continues. And then his furniture goes, and he'll continue. And then his clothing goes, and he continues. And then his body. So he said, come on, it's a little extreme. You tell me he's not going to wake up? And guess what? This is not some fairy tale example from history. We see this in front of our own eyes. How people could be so stuck on things. So we had a year of intense fighting. All of our enemies saw it and said, wow, they are weak. They are divided. And now is the opportunity to jump on them. And they found the opportunity on the day clobber us. Wow. Oh, now Baruch Hashem, they were wrong, our enemies. They thought that all the fighting that they saw and all the claims of refusing to serve in the army that were really divided, were no longer committed to the nation, and were no longer committed to fighting in the Air Force, and everyone's going to jump ship. Baruch Hashem, they were dead wrong about that, and we returned more than 150, 200%, more than anyone ever expected. So we still have that love and connection to the arm. But it was divisive and it was horrible, and we all woke up. That's it. We're together now. And it just took a few months. The same sickness, sending down the country to get what you want. And sending signs to Bibi, to Biden, save us from Bibi. Like, how sick are you? How sick? You can have your views. You can have your views. And when you go to the voting, and whenever it happens again, vote the way you think. You're stooping to the same sickness, immaturity, and distress that you caused 6-7 months ago. Are you so sick? And unfortunately, the answer is many. Yeah, absolutely. But don't you see what it caused? And now Iran attacked the same time you're starting again. Was it connected? Not connected? I don't know, but it's a horrible thing. So could it be that you get people who are so far gone that got slaps, and they'll just like in a boxing match, just keep taking it, and just keep going? Absolutely. This is not some crazy fantasy. Not at all. Not at all. This is real. Some people could be so sick and so off that God could just keep banging and banging and banging. Don't see reality. Don't see reality. Very, very, very sad. Very, very sad. So, but it's an important message. But it's always easy for us to point people to others. But of course, that's true. I think nothing wrong with saying we have a serious thing to work on up there by Israel. But ourselves also, this opportunity to see any deep issues that we've neglected for years and decades, and no matter what happens, we just keep going. It's always a good time to stop and think and reflect on this Rambam, the 4-step Rambam, from the house to the furniture to the clothing. To me, where this person just sleeping at the wheel. Do I have any issues like that myself? Okay. So that's the Rambam point number 1 about mezora and saras. Okay. Point number 2. How do we go ahead? This is our last year. We have Tuesday, Thursday already is Pesach. Pesach ends when? Monday. So we'll have Shia Tuesday. It's Chag. So we're just missing those 2 days. Okay. And so I sent a message for those who saw it this morning from Harabayis. I'm glad you enjoyed. Yes, Julie.
Is saras something that's uniform that always looks the same, or saras It could be different diseases. It could be different. In other words, is it always?
Good question. So you go through the Mishnayos and the Gam and the Rambam is different. Everything is described to a T. The whiteness, what's the whiteness like the egg of it, like the shell of an egg, and it gives clear directions. It has to fit into that criteria, or else it's not. And the Kohanim and the Gedolim are experts in this area. And they can identify what is, and you have the tzaras, and you have the hair in this color, that color, golden if it's in this area, and what in this area, it's unbelievable. It's all set out, and the Kohanim have this objective system, and then they compare what he has to what halacha says to see if it fits in. And sometimes it's not clear; they close him up for the week, and then we'll see after that. It's a fascinating world. So one last point. Erev, Korban Pesach. So I was up this morning. I sent the greeting to all you guys from the Temple Mount, and the video was right on the Mizbeach. I see Mizbeach. People see other things up there. So there's that gray gazebo. May it be removed speedily in our days. Next to that golden dome, may it be removed very speedily in our days. And that gray gazebo, that is the Makom HaMizbeach. And halavai, the golden dome is going to be open for Mikdash, halavai. But let's say we don't. Pas v'shalom, and comes Monday, then halachically we go ahead, we take the mizbeach out of the Machon HaMikdash Temple Institute, transport it over to that area, and anywhere in the Azara, any one of us could do shchita of the Korban Pesach. And then from the Kabbalah Saddam on, that's only whom? The Kohen. And the Rambam openly writes, in Hilchos Beis HaBechira, he says, this is Perek Vav, Ube Halacha Yudalit, Ube Menes Kadsha, where's the Kedusha of the Harabais come from? The Kedusha Rishona, Shekitcha Shlomo. Shlomo designated it with Kedusha. Shukidesh Azara, he designated the Azara with Kedusha. V'Yerushalayim l'Shatan v'Kichan l'Asid Lavo. He made it holy then, when he built the Mikdash, which was, what does it say? 480 years after Sinai. Then he built the Mikdash, and it was at that moment that area has Kedusha. And you have the Kedusha of the Azara. If anyone goes there today without Paraduma, then you have Kares. And then you have the Kedusha of the Harabayis. If you go there in the state of Tuma, Nido, Valkari, then it's also Nisa Device Benakaris, and then we can fix it to go to Mikvah. Oh, wow. So there's books and books and books. Thousands of pages written on all the studies. The one who was the pioneer in this work was Rav Goren, where right away in 67, he already had the army and the engineering group, and everyone was starting to go there, archaeological studies and everything. He was to me, the ultimate first responder. He's the one who, in my opinion, had the clarity to just, let's go, let's get on. He started working on it, he had Minyanim up there. He didn't even start about building. He did not think about building. Did you know we're not ready for that yet? He didn't hold that way. Let's go. Let's have Minyan. Let's get going over here. Knesset, something. And then the whole world shut him down, tragically. But either way, so Lefikach, because the Kedusha is still there from Shlomo HaMelech, Makriven, so it's a double-edged sword. Makriven, Korbanos Kulan, Afish Ein Shambaz Bana. You bring Korbanos, even though there's no house. So Chas v'Shalom comes Monday, the dome is still there, but you have a Mizbeach. Bring your Korban. The Ochel Kache Kachim, the whole Azara. You're eating the whole Azara Kache Kachim. Yeah, even though it's destroyed. And you don't have mechitza around it, so it's trickier. Because when we eat the Korban Pesach this coming Monday, you have to make sure the Korban is totally in the Azara. Let's say this is the Azara area. You're holding the Korban and its tail is out. No good. And there used to be a wall, mechitzas. Now we don't. It's an imaginary wall, so we have to know the halachas. And Yetz Hashem, that the Rav Weber and Rav Brand and all the Harabais Gedolim, all the Torah, and they know this area better than anyone. You could literally say that in their studies of this area, they literally left no stone unturned, meaning they studied the topography, the archaeology. They know this better than anyone. That's why a lot of times when there's an argument between them and others about the Temple Mountain, do we know this area, that area, it's usually not, to me, such a fair fight, so to speak, because they just know the area better. They've been there, done that. The other ones could just theorize, well, I heard we don't really know where anything is. It's a different, not the typical halachic argument. Anyways, so he goes on, what does he say? We'll finish off with this. He kachim, even though you don't have pizza there. And then ofen kachim kalim and maser sheni. And you eat kachim kalim and maser sheni. Where do you eat kachim kalim and maser sheni? Anyone know? You don't need the azara. You need where? In Yerushalayim. The halachic Yerushalayim. It's somewhere around the old city. The walls aren't exact, but something in that area is where you have it. The Alpisha ain't Sham Homos. Shekadusha Rishona. Kidsha, the Shaisa, the Kidsha, the Asid Lavo. That the Kedusha from Shlomo is forever. Okay. And the rest of Eretz Yisrael, Shemitah and Yovel is not necessarily that way. That's a whole nother discussion. But the Yerushalayim and the Azara, that is forever. Then you have a very famous writer that says it's not true. The Kedusha is not forever. And then someone who goes to the Kodesh Kodashim today, Anichnas Atasham Ein Bo Kares, doesn't have kares if he goes or she goes to the Holy of Holies today. So who do we hold by? It's a double-edged sword. Because if you're lenient like the Raven and you say there's no Kedusha anymore, so you can freely walk there without any fear, and then you can't bring what? Korban, because there's no Kedusha. If you hold like the Rambam that there's Kedusha, that means you be very careful where you walk. On the other hand, you have the Kedusha to bring the Korban. So isn't that interesting? And the Rambam writes that the history of that area of the Mizbeach is unbelievable, more than you know. I'll finish off with this line. He said, this is in Perak Sheni, based on Bachira. Malcolm Banadav, where David and Moshe built it, who on Malcolm Avram Avinu did Akedah Yitzhak. Noah was there. He brought it when he came out of the Teva. So you had Avraham, you had the Akedah Yitzhak. Cain and Hevel, Adam Harishon, Rishon Korban Kishenivra when he was created, Umisham Nivra. Rambam's getting all mystical, which is the opposite of the Rambam. Umisham Nivra, he was created from the dirt. Where? By right there, under that gazebo that I was looking at before. Adam Imako Kaparso Nivra. Is that unbelievable? Unbelievable. The list of who was there. Adam, and Noah. So let's go in order. Adam, Cain and Hevel, Noah, Akedah Yitzhak, and then David and Shlomo cemented it for all time. Unbelievable history.
I don't know whether we discussed whether you heard the Korban Pesach Monday.
I'm hoping all of us are going to. Yes, Hashem. Unfortunately, it doesn't look great, but you got to keep hoping and pushing, and you never know. I'm waiting. There's he's a powerful guy. So who else could have this job for more years than any other prime minister in history? Yes. 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 Unbelievable. Who knows? I know. We were all davening. That would have been a good one. Yeah. Yes. That's right. Anyways, so just to wrap it up, in Yetz Hashem. So in Yetz Hashem, the Mikdash If we have the Mikdash, amazing. But even if we don't have the Mikdash on Monday, the Kedusha is there. And it's just a practical question of the powers to be letting us bring the Korbanos and Yetz Hashem. You have plenty of Gedolim that know these halachas in and out and will guide us. But we're all tummy mace, and you need to do the Shechita on the Azara. Right where I took the video this morning, I was not, happy to skip away from the Azara. So, do what? No, that's the problem. No, that's the problem. That's why we don't have it. But it's because there's no pressure. The government works under pressure. All governments in the world work under pressure for people. Okay? It was a sick pressure a decade ago. To free Gilad Shalit. A totally sick pressure to free him at all costs. And it resulted in the horror of all horrors. The same wonderful people are pressuring the government. Give back hostage at all costs. I understand the pain of the hostage family. There's not even those people doing it. It's many others just with their own wild agendas. So pressure from government on government does things all around the world. But there's no pressure on the government from hundreds of thousands and millions of Jews. We want to be in the government. There's no pressure like that. So why would anyone rock the boat? You know what I'm saying? So till we have that, we could daven's going to fall from Shemaim, this and that. In my opinion, I'm not talking it's going to fall from Shemaim unless we change and we really desire it. If Germany bans bris milah, you can be sure the pressure on them is going to be so strong from the Jewish communities that we want to have bris milah. Oh, we want to have shechita. So people respond. There's no response. It's just a few nuts that talk about having it. So, okay, and these nuts are going to be proven one day to be the heroes of our nation. I'm very convinced of that. What? The Samaritans, yes, you have people who are not keeping our mezora, who are not even Jewish. They bring their own Korban Pesach and Hagrizim Haraiva. And we, the Frum, we're not even close to it. So we have a lot of tshuva to do, but in Yetz Hashem, we're here, we're Yisrael Chai, we're alive in Yetz Hashem. We're going to have a change of heart. I hope and pray to go in that direction. Everyone's have a Chag Sameach, and we're going to be doing the selling now. Okay, be well. Chag Sameach.
My son-in-law told my